Okay, my lovely people. I'm back here today with the Alex and Pete show. We still haven't got a name for it, but there you go. Four episodes in. Alex, we've got to come up with a name. So today we got a
Yes.
not a very well known, sort of a sheepish chap in the industry. No one's ever heard of him. Nah, you know who it is. The legend himself, Mr. Long. Paul, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, hello,
Hello,
hello.
Pete.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, Alex, you've got some questions because we've invited Paul along to, we got bored of our talking amongst ourselves. We thought we'd have the three amigos on today to
Yes.
talk about Facebook ads or Facebook generally, really. So, you got some questions for Paul.
Yes. So, well, like we normally do, Pete, how about we start from the beginning? Paul, why Facebook ads? Why would an agent do them? Let's start there.
Good question. Good question. So first of all, it's a really powerful platform to identify seller buyers and landlords. So there's many platforms, Google being one of them. We've got to mention that one being here with Pete. Google's one of them, but also Facebook does have huge amounts of data, tens of thousands of data points, identifying people who are perhaps thinking of moving, early stages of thinking of moving, and it definitely knows who are landlords and investors. So tapping into the data is number one. The next thing is putting your brand and your messages in front of people a lot earlier in the journey. So rather than waiting for when all the agents get that phone call for the valuation, you have the opportunity to start pretty much pre-framing people into using your services even before they reach out to agents to ask what the value of their home is. So pre-framing pretty much means showing content in front of these people leading up to that phone call to book a valuation, and that content can really sort of persuade them in using you as the agent or using your services. So and that comes from something called retargeting, which is another word there. Retargeting means getting back in front of people, showing interest in you. So there are some really powerful things you can do with Facebook ads, but one of the key things is you've got to understand that Facebook advertising is very different to hitting that boost button.
Well, funnily enough, that was going to be my next point. So normal posts on Facebook. I still see people posting property data, property listings as a standard post on Facebook, but I also see people boosting it as well. Is there any point doing that anymore? That sounds a bit harsh.
Yeah, I think there'll always be arguments for boosting, and there are some people even sort of teach strategies to use boosting in that sort of overall strategy. But when you boost, let's just break it down what you're doing. When you hit the boost button, it will put you in front of people who are most likely to engage with your content. So that literally it's going to find someone who's going to click a like button or maybe even comment. And it'll push it out there, and it has got a little bit better with regards to the targeting. But there's so much more with Facebook adverts in the back end to actually identify people who are most likely to take a certain action in your audience. So you can say to Facebook, look, in my town, I want to find people who are most likely to watch my video, or people who are most likely to come off Facebook and look at the full details on my website, my property, or even hand over their information as a lead. And Facebook knows in your audience, in your town, who's most likely to do that. So one of the benefits of going in the back end, which is called Ads Manager, is that you can actually find people to take specific actions, as well as targeting sellers and landlords. But also you can make your adverts look so much better. So you can put buttons on the ads. You can create some really nice sort of mobile experience adverts. And I think with boosting, one thing I do know that I have heard people say they've had conversations. These are high-level marketing experts who've said that Facebook actually wish boosting didn't exist anymore. It's just something that makes them so much money because it's so easy to use that they keep it. But they actually wish they could get rid of it because they know the power of Facebook advertising is in the back end. And really the whole method of Facebook advertising is built on a priming and reminding basis, which means that there should be a two-step there, always minimum, where you put your ad out there first of all to new people, but then you should show up again. And Facebook does provide you the tools to do that, and that's what you want you to do. But by boosting, you can't do that. You have to go in the back end to do all that. On that.
Cool. So it's actually, so boosting on its own is fairly limited, but with the sort of ads manager, it opens it up to a lot more scope.
Yeah, it does.
That's interesting.
Yeah, loads more scope. You know, the things you can do in the back end is vast, and that's why a lot of the time people get us to do it for them, because there's so much there you can do, and it can be very complicated, and that's why so many people would rather just hit that boost button. But you could argue that really you're not benefiting from much at all. The chances of you hitting the same person each time when you hit that boost button is very, very low. And that is one of the really powerful parts of Facebook advertising, is to stay in front of people who've raised their hand and shown interest in you. And Facebook provides you loads of different audiences that you can create in the back end to do that. But boosting, you're not. You're literally just getting in front of new people who are most likely going to give you a thumbs up or a comment. It has improved a bit recently to go a little bit further than that, but really not a benefit to most agents.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. I obviously the likes and stuff, that's not really engagement, is it? That's just, you know, that's not really what you want.
Vanity metric, yeah.
Yeah.
But people like it. So some people, what they'll do, you know, this is where it can work as a strategy. So one of the things is that some people might boost their post for a couple of days, just for a couple of £1 or £5, and get loads of likes and comments on it. And then they go into the back end of Facebook and set up a proper advert with the same post, but now it's got all of the social proof on it, which is all the comments and likes.
Yeah.
And when someone else sees that post, they're like, oh, it's got all those comments and likes, it must be a good post, I'll stop and read it. So there are things that you can do with that, but it's not a great option if you really want to see the results that most agents are looking for.
Okay. All right. No, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. I often hear people talking about the boosting side of it, but it's not. I've always thought, does it actually work? So yeah, interesting. Okay, so Facebook Advantage, Paul. Talk to us about Facebook Advantage. What is it?
Yeah,
I kind of know, but for the benefit of everyone else,
I don't.
So let's break it down a little bit. So Facebook Advantage is something that both Alex and myself have been working on putting together for quite a while now, and it's doing extremely well for the agents that we've initially rolled it out to. And it's a great way where you're giving Facebook all your properties. Okay, so if you can just imagine Facebook all of a sudden has all your properties and they're all up to date, just like the portals. You're then able to set up adverts which will pretty much look after themselves. Because one of the biggest complaint that we get from a lot of agents who are doing Facebook ads is, God, it takes a long time to create them and to send them off. And if you're getting listings all the time, then obviously you could be in and out changing your ads. So one of the adverts we create with Advantage is that carousel advert, which is a great advert where you can have all your listings in it, or quite a few of your listings in it. But of course, it's only up to date to when you updated it. But with the Advantage offering, that's taken away. That problem's taken away. So the properties are kept up to date on an hourly basis, and you can have your properties showing to the local town that you cover, finding people who are most likely thinking of moving, and driving thousands of people to your website when they do see your advert and click on a property that's of interest to them. One of the things that I should point out, though, is that the advert is run by Facebook's machine learning. So it's AI machine learning, in that it's using all its data points to decide what properties to show each person. And that's the powerful bit. And we've looked at the data here, myself and Alex, and we've compared thousands of ads that we've run, and we can clearly see that the actual cost to get someone to your website is at least 3 times less using the Advantage AI system than you putting properties in the advert and hoping it connects with someone. So what I see in the advert will be totally different to what Alex or Pete would see when it shows in front of them, because it will look at perhaps what properties you've been looking at on other websites, what you've been talking about in WhatsApp and Messenger, what you've been clicking on in the news feeds, and then it will show you properties that it thinks you're most likely going to engage with on that. So really powerful there. And there's loads of ways you can do it. So we've built out quite a few different types of adverts for buyers, sellers, and tenants. And then the second magical part is where we stay in front of anyone that has shown interest. So the whole idea when we and Alex spoke was it's all very well people coming to the website, but we want to stay in front of them. So we've set up a system where anyone shows interest in that property or that advert, they're then followed around and they see your properties every week without fail. And that's powerful. That's really, really powerful. So that's a short version of it. There's a lot more to it, but I think that will give people a bit of an idea of how that works. And some of the results have been pretty amazing, haven't they, Alex, on that?
Indeed, yeah. Just touching on what you were just saying there. That you've often reminded me of that point. Actually, I always look at stats, what I can actually see in terms of, oh yeah, I can see this amount of traffic coming from these ads to the website. But you've often reminded me, yeah, but it's not just about that. It's actually about how many times your brand is being shown in front of people. And it's just happening all the time. And that's actually something that's really powerful, isn't it? It's just brand awareness. It's just constant brand awareness.
Yeah, it's as much. So there's 2 parts to the results. You know, result 1 is the number of people that go to the website, you know, each day and each month, which is thousands each month. And of course, you know, what happens on the website as well is another topic. But the other bit, which I think most people miss, but I feel it's as important, it may be even more important, is the frequency aspect. You know, the frequency of people seeing you every week, remaining top of mind, and feeling that you are the one that gets all the properties and are doing the business. So all they're seeing is your properties every week, even though it's actually a very small audience and you're just part of a very small audience that's seeing that advert. But when you think about it, it's just a modern version of what agents have been doing for a long time. You know, with boards, for example, before the internet came around, it was get as many boards up. So if someone's driving around, they think you're doing all the business, and you get boards up on the main road, and someone will drive around and they see a board on the main road. They go around the corner, see a board again. You might only have 6 boards up, but they're all on main roads. And they come to you, say, "I just see your boards everywhere." So it's just a modern version of frequency, and that you get all the properties. And I also think there's actually an aspect of when people sell now, one of the things they think about before even getting a valuation is who's going to find the property for me? Who's the agent who's going to, you know, find the property that I want, my dream home? And if they're seeing that your properties every week, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, oh, that agent gets loads of properties. There's probably a bigger chance that they're going to get. Yeah.
It's a subliminal thing as well, isn't it? Because you're not even thinking about it, are you? You know, often people aren't even ready to do anything yet, but they might be in 3, 6, 12 months, whatever. You want to, as you said, you want to be top of mind. But it's a subliminal. They might not even realize, oh yeah, I know which agent I want to use, and then suddenly see him again. So yeah, it's powerful, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, and we see so many ads now. You know, I always go on about it, but apparently we see 5,000 adverts online and offline every day. There's stats on this, and it sounds a stupid number. It sounds like it's too much, but when you think about it,
it does sound too much.
It does, but when you think about it, you go online. There's ads everywhere being promoted. You might not notice them, but they're everywhere. When you're walking down the street, they're on buses. They're on, you know, there's logos in the window. So the brain actually does reflect most adverts. So you only get a few. You recognize a few later on, and this is where the frequency is so important. If an agent's going to actually get called out, you need to be showing up every week, weeks or months before they even decide to call agents out to make sure that you're one of the ones that they think of. So
are in that top pick. Yeah. Okay, so listen, what the final thing, Paul, you mentioned it a moment ago. What are the results? What have you, give us some of your top picks?
Yeah, so I think my favourite one was Michelle Gallagher's, where I knew it was going to have a great impact when she turned it on, because she does so well by marketing anyway, and there's a lot of engaged data there, and her local area does a lot of people do know her, but the results were pretty insane with the numbers of people visiting her site. So we turned on the Advantage product and let it run for 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks, and we did a review call and looked at the stats. And she had 18,000 people visit her site in that period, and nearly broke Facebook, I think, at the same time. The cost per lead was something ridiculous. It was less than a penny a person cost per lead to get people to her website. And she had, you mentioned it, what are the stats though? What resulted in that? Well, she said to me she had the busiest January she ever had on record. Now, I'm not saying, I can't prove that all came from Advantage, but it's coincidence that she drove 18,000 people to her site. She stayed in front of a good proportion of those for 3 to 4 weeks. And then all of a sudden she got, more valuations than she's ever had. So I think it really is more powerful than you think. It's not just about driving people to your website for brand awareness and just being one of those agents that gets called out. It can be really powerful for that. And then we've had other agents who just literally are saying they're getting loads of people to their site, but they're getting comments along the lines of, I don't know what you've done, but I just see you everywhere, and that's what we want to achieve.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times actually. Yeah.
I don't know what you've done, but I see you everywhere, and that's what you want to achieve with your Facebook advertising and something like this. It's not just about driving thousands of people to your site. That's one step. It's then getting that feedback like that.
Yeah, I think the key. I mean, those stats were. I mean, I obviously we've been talking about it for a long time, but the Michelle Gallagher thing that's just insane. 18,000 in 3 weeks. That's just insane. I think the key thing for me, and I always come back to the techie part, but it's completely automated, isn't it? It's completely hands free.
Yeah,
Agent doesn't do anything. Once it's running,
right.
it's just that's it, done.
We set it up. We create all the back end so that the ads are set up from day one, and everything technical is connected, and all that magical stuff happens with following people around. But Michelle, I think she said it's now saving her about 8 hours. I think 8 hours every few weeks. It's like 8 hours a month for 8 hours every few weeks, because she was having to create all these different adverts and try and think what's correct. And part of the service is obviously. I will do that, and then it's looked after going forward. But it is, as you say, it once it's set up, it then looks after itself because you're not having to start and stop the ads.
Yeah. Is it? I used to have conversations with agents whereby they would, as part of their package to a vendor, they would basically say, so we're going to advertise it on the portals, put it on our website, and also do a boost campaign or something around that on the social media side. And that would only be specific listings though. But now they can literally just do it, all of them, and just include it.
I love that, and I think that's a real good point. That we've missed out there is that I now, like you, tell the agents to tell their clients that now their property is being marketed every single day with a Facebook ad, and also anyone showing interest in the property are going to be followed around and reminded about it, and that's to all clients. So we've got a nice marketing material for that, where they can put that in front of clients. But when you go out on valuation, that's another angle, and as we know, there's only small little differences that agents can often mention about their services, but I think that one would be a really nice one to start mentioning to clients. And they'll probably see the property going around and following them around anyway, so it works nicely.
Yeah. Differentiation, I think, is the word. Amazingly, I've actually said that correctly. Normally, I completely fail. Well done. Well done. Anyway, Paul, thank you. Pete, any questions?
One real simple one. Let's draw it back. We've been speaking to an agent, and they're using a social media agency to post stuff on their website. Now, I've tried to educate them in the nicest but also the bluntest way about just simply posting on their page. Can you sort of educate before we blow the internet up with bans and stuff? Can you explain the difference between like posting regular posts and what the reach is on that versus obviously ads is obviously where you pay for the traffic, but what value are they getting for just having something on their Facebook business page?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And I think, first of all, breaking it down even further is that when you put content onto your Facebook page, you've got to consider if you're actually going to put money behind it or not. Because if you're not going to put money behind it on your Facebook page, you really need to keep the platform happy to get maximum exposure. And that's organic, free exposure of that post. And if you're going to be doing it that way, you really want to put whole content into the post itself, so that there isn't like a link leaving Facebook, because Facebook doesn't want to lose people. You know, wants to keep people on the platform, even more now because of TikTok and the way those platforms work. So the advice there, first of all, would be, if you're not going to boost it or you're not going to be running Facebook ads, which you should do, but if you're not, then you put the full content in the post and just benefit from people, you know, being educated and obviously, you know, seeing you as an authority figure by reading your content, and it will get out to more people that way. But really what you should be doing is creating an advert with a preview of that blog, then sending them to the full article on the blog website or the agent's website, and then pixeling them. And pixeling means, you know, tracking and building an audience of people reading the blogs on the website, and then staying in front of them with a second advert, which is either a guide or maybe it's just staying in front of them with other posts and content. So there's two ways to do it. I think blogs are a great way to drive traffic to a site. I think they're a great way to build audiences, and should be used, and very low cost. You know, we run blog campaigns where we take 3 or 4 seller blogs or 3 or 4 landlord blogs, and we might only spend £1 or £2 a day and rotate those blogs and drive loads of people to them, and then we stay in front of them. So yeah, that's the sort of things you've got to be thinking about there.
Yeah, it's the remarketing step.
Yeah, you can do that in conjunction with other campaigns as well, can't you? Obviously, so the property stuff, blogs, and so on. This is all part of that overall strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, educating is one part of it. So and blogs can be seen as top of funnel as well. So you can put them out, and you've got to remember, these people are seeing you for the first time on social media. And I think agents often forget that it's not, you know, Google obviously is a little bit different, and we know that the stronger leads are there in certain places. But with social media, you've got to lead with value, and maybe that's educate people by giving tips and advice, and send them to a blog. They visit your website, they read the blog, they think, oh yeah, this agent knows what they're talking about. That's been helpful. And you might have a call to action on that website, you know, download our guide now. But then next time they see you, they're more likely to engage with that content, because they feel that, yeah, you know what you're talking about. Maybe I will do an online valuation. Maybe I will even fill out a form to book a valuation. So yeah, they're great part of a strategy.
Cool.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that.
Pete, anything else from your side?
No, I'm pretty good. I think, yeah, I've got a few
covered
clients.
Quite a lot there, yeah. Covered quite a lot.
Yeah, 20 minutes. So some fantastic value there for the estate agent. So yeah.
Indeed.
So we'll leave it there for now. I think if we've got any questions, then we'll just get the agent to reach out to you, Paul.
Yeah, no, love to have a chat. I think one thing I was just going to say is that maybe some people are thinking, how does Google and Facebook connect? And we could go on for another half an hour on that. But Pete and me do actually work on a lot of things, a lot of clients where the traffic that's driven from Google is then poured into what we're doing with Facebook. So it works so well together. So if anyone wants a conversation about that and how that looks as well, Pete or myself can have a chat about that. But there's some really good stuff that you can do with both of those platforms.
Absolutely.
I feel like there's a follow-up video here because I want to know more about that. Funnily enough, it was exactly what's on my list. so yeah, for sure we can need to do another one.
That could be an hour special.
Oh, stop it.
Right, listen, guys, thank you for your time. Hopefully it's been of tremendous value to agents out there. And yeah, we'll speak soon, no doubt.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care.